Hi everybody, I'm Mike and this is Mike Miller Talks Life. Today's quote: at some point in your life, you will have to face your fears. At some point in your life, you will have to face your fears. We've just come through National Facing Your Fears Day. I wonder how that went. How many of us faced a fear and crashed through? Or how many of us continued to be afraid? We don't have feedback on these kind of days, so it's hard to ever know if we made it or not. I think it's encouraging to know that everybody is afraid of something. Often when we're afraid of something, we feel like we're the only one. Everybody has fear. Everybody, even the people that appear fearless, have fears. They just deal with them a little bit differently maybe than you do. Some of the common fears that people face are snakes. I mean, who's not afraid of them? I feel. Heights, spiders, needles, dogs, the dark, loud noises, fear of dying, fear of failure. We fear getting sick and not be able to bounce back. Fear of the future. Fear when somebody's following you or they appear to be following you. Fear of deep water. Fear of giving a speech. Actually, fear is a gift. We always think of it as negative, but really when we feel a threat of harm, whether it's physical, emotional, psychological, whether it's real or imagined, there's a small organ in our brain, the control center of fear and sending out messages about it. And when we feel a threat, this part of our brain alerts our nervous system, which sets our body's fear response into motion. Stress hormones are released, your blood pressure and heart rate increase, you start breathing faster, your blood flows, more blood flows to your extremities, making it easier for you to start throwing punches or run for your life. This is stressful. This is tiring. Our body is on full alert, but it's also a gift because we're ready to face whatever danger is coming at us. It's truly a gift. And it's amazing that we are designed like that. Fear can also be a kind of slavery. Some of our fears are very valid. A danger. Someone is following you and they're chasing you. Something can hurt you, take your life, and we need to take action. Our body alerts and we're ready for it and we face it. Often our fears may be of things that can't really hurt us. We've just convinced ourselves. We felt a little uncomfortable about something, and then we thought about it more and more, and we're more and more uncomfortable, very apprehensive, and we have the same fear response as if it were a major threat to our life. And these fears begin to have control over us, and as we think about them and focus on them more and more, they can grow. It appears that they're bigger and bigger, and we are freaking out more and more, and they dominate us. Fears can drain us because of the physical reaction that our brain is sending out these messages and our body is gearing up, and that's totally draining. Fear can undermine our self-confidence. We become timid, hesitant to try anything. We let things go instead of doing something. Fear prevents us from reaching our potential. The fears that we don't face become limits in our life, and we miss out on so many things. And that's what fear makes us a slave. That's what this slavery is like. We're just missing out on so much. So we need to face our fears. The quote says, at some point in our life, we're going to need to face our fears. We need to decide, are we going to run from this or fight this? Our fears are holding us back, and we're missing out on things that we would really enjoy doing. Things we look at and we think that would be really fun, but we just don't step out. It can prevent us from carrying out our purpose. And when you continue to avoid fears and think of them as afraid, I'm afraid of that, and it's going to do something to me, the fear center of your brain just continues to record that, and deep ruts are built into your brain that keep you from ever stepping out. And it becomes harder and harder to face that fear down and crash through. We need to develop some tactics. And I've listed 3 things I think that might help in facing our fears. And the first is we need to build a support team. We all need 2 or 3 people in our life who can walk through life with us. More and more people are alone. More and more we're resistant to being with other people. We stay home. We resist people. We say no to social activities. And it's not good for us. We need people in our life. This could be a spouse, a family member, could be a friend. And we need to let these people help us, even talk to them about the kind of help we need, so they really know how to support you and help you. And if you ever feel like you're part of somebody's support system, you need to step up and be there for them. So it starts with building a support team, and then it involves moving to clarifying your fear. Sometimes the object of fear seems so big, and it just feels like there's no way I can crash through that. There's no way I can do that because I'm so afraid. And the more we focus on something, the larger it grows. And the fear just becomes just like insurmountable in our mind. But analysis of the fear, clarifying the fear, will diminish it. It'll cause it to lose its power and become more manageable. And your friends can help with this. So you just ask yourself a few questions. You try to pin down, what are you really afraid of? Is it real or imaginary? If it's a real fear, then it is a genuine threat that could truly hurt you, and you need to deal with that. But if it's imagined, it's just something that scares you, but it can't really hurt you. Maybe you're afraid of deep water. Maybe you're afraid of giving a speech. 2 common fears. So then once you pinpoint it, I won't get in the pool, in the deep end, or I'm scared to death to give a speech, you want to ask, why do you fear it? Don't just name it, but why? If I get up in public to give a speech, I'll forget what I say. I used to have a terrible stuttering problem. I'll start stuttering and I can't say anything. I'll get so nervous, I'll throw up in front of everybody, which would be pretty horrible if you think about it. They'll laugh at me. Most people, if you throw up in front of them, they're not going to laugh at you. They'll just leave. Or I'm afraid of deep water because I could sink and die. And I don't want that because I'm afraid of death too. So you need to name it, but then press why. Why does that matter? Look at the evidence. I mean, could that really happen? Well, yeah. People have given speeches and forgot, and people have stuttered. I don't know if anybody's thrown up in public, but those are, yeah. But not everybody that's given a speech has done that. And I've heard some pretty boring speeches, and yet they haven't done that. And there are many people who have gotten in the water and drowned, but not everybody. I would dare say many more have been in deep water and haven't drowned. So you see, you're just chipping away at the reality, taking away the power of the fear. And then you want to maybe ask, what is this fear preventing me from doing? It's keeping me from enjoying the pool with my grandchildren. It's keeping me from, I wanted to join I wanted to join the speech and debate team. I stuttered. I was scared to death because I would look like an idiot in front of people. But I wanted to do it. And I knew I had some natural skills at speaking, but just a stupid stuttering problem. And I don't know how I got that. And no, I'm not doing it. So, but it was preventing me from doing something I really wanted to be a part of. So you begin to see, do you want that more than yielding to the fear? Do you really want that? I did. I think there's things you really want, and your fear is just in the way. And is it worth it to let this fear to continue stopping you? And then what are you doing to feed the fear? Is it stuff you're reading, stuff you're watching on TV, people you listen to? You need to recognize that and begin to get those out of your life. I think it also helps when you're analyzing this to think about the positives. If you step out, what good will come from that? Look, I'll be able to do something I've always wanted. I will do something I really enjoy doing. I will feel better about myself. So in this clarifying, you're just working through it. It takes the power away from the fear when you whittle it down and realize, I'm afraid of that. I'm missing this because of that. So then you can just come up with a plan. A good plan, a workable plan. I mean, don't just jump in the ocean one day and see how it goes, face my fear. I mean, that would be kind of not that smart because you will sink and, I mean, the inevitable happen. So maybe chip away at it. Take swimming lessons from somebody who specializes in adults learning how to swim. They're so good at it. Maybe hook up with a speech coach, somebody that's really good at public speaking and giving you handles and help on how to breathe, how to calm yourself, how to prepare, how to make notes that are really helpful for you as you speak. All that. Come up with a plan. The final thing is cultivate your faith. We need something to put our trust in to help us with these fears that seem so large. The plan is good, clarifying is good, allowing your group of friends help you. They're all good, but sometimes the fear is pretty big. And you need something personal to help you. But faith is only as good as its object. So is what you're trusting in big enough to really help you? It is interesting to me that recent studies are indicating a large number of people have or want to have more faith. They see the value of faith, real, genuine faith, a real connect with God. They want that, but they're just turned off by organized religion because, I mean, organized religion seems to be floundering right now. I think our fear is drawing us to God, to see that He is worthy of our trust, and He really is more concerned about you handling and facing your fears than you realize He is. There are many false ideas about God, and it sort of hinders people from going toward him. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian. And the one thing about the Christian faith is kind of like the core of the Christian faith is the idea, the incarnation, which is God coming among us as one of us. And it's just so powerful. There was a problem that kept us from God, a sin problem. He came to fix the problem, to solve the problem, and to call us to himself. And this is what Jesus was, God in human form. Many times in the Bible, we see God saying, "Fear not, I'm with you." That's the help we need. He's with us. I've seen my faith make a big difference in my life. Time and time again, I faced fear, hard times, and God has been like a wall around me, protecting me. I've walked through life and all the things that life can throw at us, and just knowing that he's with me. It doesn't take the problem away, but he gives strength, confidence, comfort. My trust in him has grown each time he's come through. And that's how it works for you. That's how it works for anybody. So maybe you need to work on your faith. Maybe you started with faith, but then you sort of put it in the rearview mirror and left it there, and you need to bring it up and start using it because you're facing some fearful times in your life. Or maybe you just need to go ahead and step into a life of faith. And if you have questions about that, you can, in the comments, just mention that, and maybe I could steer you to some things that might help. Facing our fears. We all have fears. One day, at some point in your life, you're going to have to face them. Face them down because they're keeping you from what you really want to do and what you were meant to do. I hope this talk has been helpful. I really appreciate you listening and tuning in. And I hope it's helpful. Maybe it's something you can share with somebody who's maybe struggling with fear. It's not the best talk on facing your fear. There are many others on YouTube that are way better. But this is simple and might have some handles for you. So if you liked it, I hope you click like. If you're into subscribing to these, you're welcome to do that. And until next time, take care of yourself.